Hello, this is Asian Movie Pulse Bad Accent Reviews. I'm Aaron Hinojosa, and today we'll be looking at The Vampire Doll. Packaged with other similar Michio Yamamoto works in the Blood Thirsty Trilogy, The Vampire Doll brings Toho's horror into the 1970s. The story begins when a man named Kazuhiko Sagawa visits the home of his fiancée, Yuko Nonomura. After he goes missing, his sister Keiko and her boyfriend Hiroshi investigate the events that transpired that night. They wind up at the Nonomura Manor, where Keiko sees Yuko, who had supposedly died in years past. Seeking the truth behind these strange events, Keiko and Hiroshi must unravel the mystery before them. The camera work is fairly standard, but the lighting is where the image really shines. When night falls, light hits the characters at their side, leaving their faces partially engulfed in a rich darkness. The lighting in this shot in particular impressed. The shadow of the bed's footboard not only makes for an interesting silhouette to cast over the characters, but also illustrates the environment behind the camera. The horror is par for the course for that era, music stings and all. The scares are unlikely to leave contemporary audiences shaking. But the aforementioned visuals set enough of a murky atmosphere to get into the film's mood. Regarding the pacing, the plot moves fast. It does need to finish by its 71-minute runtime after all. On the upside, the protagonists hit the ground running, quickly getting into the conflict. On the downside, the strict adherence to plot progression leaves little opportunity to develop the cast. Regardless of character, the mystery they investigate intrigues. The questions and reveals play out in unexpected turns. A couple of facets of the ending carry a hokey implausibility that is no stranger to that era. However, believable motives and the skeptic weighing of supernatural versus rational explanation help to resist age. Zooming out a bit, there's the Vampire Doll as it pertains to the legacy of horror it takes after. That is to say, America's Universal Monsters and Britain's Hammer horror. While Yamamoto's work here seems most inspired by Hammer, its entirety is akin to an amalgamation of both genre tropes and cultures. One such example of its kinship to horror is the speech-impaired servant to the Nonomuras who's right at home with Igor and other hunchbacked helpers. As for its cultural gap from its Western counterparts, given the lack of Anglo influence in Japan's past, the production cannot adapt its inspirations, period settings, and aesthetics at the same time. As a solution, the story sets itself in then-modern Japan, allowing the Nonomura family a Western mansion to bear Gothic architecture identifiable with classic vampire tales. Lastly, while the following works in this trilogy feature conventional vampiric imagery, this one does not. While Yuko may feed on blood, long sharp fangs she has not. Instead, she appears with dark hair and long white clothing, the traditional image of a Japanese ghost. This depiction reflects a certain association with its genre in its country of origin. Classic Japanese horror most commonly stirs up images of spirits, ethereal beings, curses, and the like. While in America, horror often calls upon concepts such as monsters, killers, physically bound threats. The mystery in the movie, though, plays in the middle. The theory that Yuko is a spirit reflects olden beliefs. Later on, though, the film introduces a doctor character who brings psychology into the mix. This embodies the rational thinking of the modern world. But even then, it's not that cut and dry. The doctor recalls a memory during the war in which he witnessed a ghost. The man believes in both science and the supernatural. This moment proposes a pluralistic relationship between traditional and modern thinking. Even if not put under a magnifying glass, scenes like this contribute to the interesting watch that is The Vampire Doll. Even if what scared audiences then may not translate to today, its approach to the mystery resists age more than one would expect. Beyond its innate content, the movie presents a unique example of cultural diffusion in cinema. The Vampire Doll is a quick watch that can be greatly appreciated understanding the cinematic context from which it was created.